Welcome back to the Orange and Brown Talk. It is a big round table, and we are drafting quarterbacks. All five of us, which is the new regular plan for the Big Friday pod. Doug Lesmerises, Mary Kay Cabot, Dan Labbe, Ellis Williams, Scott Patsko, and today we are trying to figure out where Baker Mayfield fits into the NFL quarterback hierarchy, and we are doing that by having a 5-person draft, and this is the parameter that you need to keep in mind. It is for 1 year. It is for the 2021 season. Contracts do not matter. Potential in 2022 does not matter. And you are drafting for a generic winning team that is trying to win the Super Bowl. You can implement any system you want to implement. You will find the right coaches to make this quarterback successful. Let's talk football. Let's talk quarterbacks. Mary Kay Cabot, you are up first on the clock. Pick number 1 in the cleveland.com Orange and Brown Talk quarterback draft.
Well, surprise, surprise. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes at number 1. We've all seen what he can do. That arm is scary. I can't believe some of the plays this guy can make. I think that the arrow is still pointing up. There's way more that he can accomplish. He's the number 1 pick.
Patrick Mahomes is 1. Scott Patsko, you're up. Who's 2?
Yeah, I asked our Football Insider subscribers for help with this pick this afternoon. I told them I had the second pick. I said, assume Mahomes is going number 1. And they weren't much help. I got a ton of responses. Lots of Rodgers, lots of Brady, lots of Watson, some Baker. So I'm kind of on my own here. I'm going with Tom Brady. I don't care if he's getting his AARP card in a few years. PFF graded him above 90 for just a 5th time in his career. He's doing this year exactly what we're doing in this draft. He went to a new team. They build everything around him, and he's in the Super Bowl. So Tom Brady's my pick.
But I'll tell you this: hearing Tom Brady's name read, just my eyes lit up, because now I've got all these possibilities. I thought there were 2 guys I was going to be picking from here. Instead, I've got 3 guys that I want to pick from, and this changes my math a little bit. So I am going to go with that number 2 pick because this guy fell to me. I don't want this guy sitting in the green room again on draft day. I feel bad for him. So I'm just going to grab him. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers here at number 3.
Ellis Williams, you're up with pick number 4.
This sucks. This is not going how I thought it would. I guess I'm going to hope someone comes back to me because I can't pick over this guy. So I'm going with Deshaun Watson. Led the league in passing yards, playing for an abysmal team. Say no more. I think he's underutilized as a runner. He's like Mary Kay said with Patrick Mahomes. We're just scratching the surface with Deshaun Watson. I think I would have taken him 2 in this conversation, to be quite honest. So I'll take Deshaun Watson at, what are we at, 4?
That's at 4. I had 5 quarterbacks that I called sure things. That to me, if I'm drafting them, I am sure they are capable of leading me to a Super Bowl. It doesn't mean they're going to, but I think I would have no doubt about my ability to think I'm a Super Bowl contender when this guy's my quarterback and I have a good team around him. And 4 of the 5 just got taken. So I'm taking the last guy at this level, and I'll be curious if everybody else would have him at this level. I'm taking Russell Wilson. And I don't know if those top 4, I actually had Brady 5th behind Wilson, but I get that's more of an age thing. Mary Kay, you're up. Who's your pick?
You know what? This is where I think you could put any number of names in here. This is where I looked at number 6 and I thought there are 6 guys I could pick for this spot. So this is where it started to get a little divergent for me. And I probably went with a guy that maybe most of you wouldn't put here. But I went with Dak Prescott at number 6. Coming off an injury, but I like him. You had him, Dan?
He was my number 5.
We're getting to the juicy part. This is to the part. We're already at the part where I think it is not obvious. So let's go to Scott Patsko with pick number 7. Who you got, Scott?
I'm going with Josh Allen. He was my number 5. You're right. It is kind of like, this is the point where you can make arguments for a lot of guys. And I'm somebody who was kind of maybe mocking one of our colleagues, Hayden Grove, a little bit for his love of Josh Allen early on, especially during Allen's rookie year. But he's turned it around the last 2 seasons. He's proven himself, and I'm going with Allen here.
All right, so you now are up, Dan. Who's pick number 8 in our QB draft?
So this is when it gets really tough, right? And this is where I think it's important to remember this is for 1 year, because this might start to be where if this were for like the next 5 years or the next 10 years, you'd start to maybe play the age game a little bit. There's a lot of ways I can go, including the one that Browns fans are waiting to hear, but I'm not going to do it. How about this guy? I might go, if I'm dropping him into the perfect system, I actually think I'm going to go because I trust him and I know what he can do. Is this too high for Ryan Tannehill?
Ooh, I thought you were going somewhere else there.
I love it, Dan. I love that pick. Good for you.
And it's Ellis Williams who has this next pick at 9.
All right, I'm ecstatic. I can't believe this guy is still here. My first pick, I was nervous because I was seeing the board. I'm like, all right, he might not get back to me. He's my number 5 pick, and I'm getting him, what, now at 9?
Yep.
It's Lamar Jackson. To me, it's a no-brainer, Lamar Jackson. When I was working through this list, and Doug had the caveat or you could install any offense you wanted to, it became very clear to me. And I'm silly. Green Bay also runs the same exact offense, and Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback that runs it. So we'll put Ryan Tannehill at 2 because this offense, the heavy play action, wide zone scheme is really the epicenter of how I formulated my board. Aaron Rodgers showed what elite quarterback with a skill set that is only comparable to Patrick Mahomes looks like in this offense. Ryan Tannehill, I think, is the best, like, above average traits type quarterback in this offense. I can't imagine what Lamar Jackson would do in this offense.
I have 2 people that are on my board higher than my 10 spot. And we're in range. We're getting in range here.
Mhm.
I will say that I think if Joe Burrow was 100% healthy, I think I would pick Joe Burrow here. I think he is the real deal, but he had a devastating injury. So I'm not doubting Joe Burrow's career. I'm not picking him here for 2021. And I almost want to do it, but I'm going to stick to my board, and I'm ready for it, including from the listeners. I'm ready for it because I'm not certain about this. Like Dan said, I could go either way. I'm in a group of, like, I'd say there's 4 quarterbacks here that I could pick either one, but I'm going to take Justin Herbert. I'm going to take super high upside if it hits in year 2. Like, if he's ready, like arm, vision, athleticism, like he kind of was in a weird coaching situation this year. Like, if you give him the right coach, the right offense, sometimes it hits for guys in year 2. I'm going upside pick here for Justin Herbert. Dan, what do you think of that?
I love it because when you said you were thinking about Joe Burrow, I would take Justin Herbert right now over Joe Burrow.
It's time. And here's why it's time. I love Joe Burrow. Okay. I love jumping Joe Burrow, but the injury scares me a little bit. It does. This is a very serious injury by him. So therefore I'm going Baker Mayfield here. It is time. It's time to pick him because, again, we could pick him 3-4 spots later, but I think he showed enough this year. Think about this: 20 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions in his final how many ever games after throwing that pick in Cincinnati that resulted in the Odell Beckham Jr. torn ACL. So I think it's time. I think there's upside for him. I do. I think his second year in this system, I think he's going to get even better. And this is the spot where I feel comfortable.
So I want to go around and I want all this on the record for sure. So Mary Kay, on your list, where did you have Baker?
I had him pretty high. In part, like I said, because I came in quickly off the beach and made a very fast list. So I had him at number 7. I had him at number 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is very, very high. I know that's very high. And part of it is also that I'm a little afraid of Doug. So that had something to do with it.
Very reasonable. That's a good way to make all your lists. Always be a little afraid of me. Scott, where did you have Baker on your list?
I had him 9th. So I had him just behind Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott and right ahead of Tannehill. So, I mean, this is, I guess, within range. I didn't have Herbert that high. I had him 13th. I really was trying to value experience and having done it before over hoping that a guy's going to take a leap next season when I have this perfect team and I just got to drop my quarterback in there. So, but 9th, basically the spot.
Ellis, where did you have Baker?
set myself up for this. Here we go. I have Baker Mayfield at 16th, tied with other quarterback. I can name that quarterback if you'd like me to, but I have him tied at 16th.
Dan, where did you have Baker?
I had him just outside the top 10. I think I've got him 11th or 12th here on my list. I had him ahead of Herbert, in part because of what Scott said. If I'm trying to win next year, I'm probably going with a guy that I really know what I'm getting. Whereas Herbert, maybe he does take a step back in year two, or maybe he takes off in year two. We just don't know.